she has now invoked it.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
That's a really good question. What exactly does it mean?
I'm still trying to sort it out myself, to be honest.
It was funny because she got the question at the press conference from a reporter up in Edmonton. I couldn't see him because I could just hear him, but it was kind of to the effect of like, are you doing this for show, just to draw attention to yourself? And she said, well, yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. You know, like there's not.
She wasn't quite so blasé.
Oh, she was like,
Well,
yeah,
no, she said, no, I want the courts to
blasé.
understand.
She was
I want the
excited,
courts to
yeah.
understand what we're about here. When this comes before the courts, this is the reasoning that we're going to give.
You know, I said, like, what are you trying to do? Draw attention to it? She goes, yeah. You know,
Well,
like,
like,
unabashed about it.
Part of the point from that reporter, which I think was kind of valid, he asked, was, what is this empowering you to do that you didn't already have the ability to do? And I'm not seeing anything. I mean, I'm seeing that it could be a useful act. I'm not dismissing the whole thing, but nothing new really is coming of it. It's just kind of perhaps packing it together into a bill that can help take things to the federal government or to the courts in one package rather than a few different efforts. But
well, I think the idea is to get the federal government to go to the court, and they've already said that they're not going to do it, so they're just going to ignore it. So I don't know what that means. I don't know if that, you know, if they're going to try and claim that it's against the law to resist these regulations, which haven't really come into effect yet and weren't really supposed to come into effect until next spring sometime, and they're still negotiating, and you've got these ongoing negotiations, and now you've got this COP28 summit happening in Dubai, you know, where there's going to be a big head-to-head. It's not just Jabot that's going, it's Francois Philippe Champagne is going. You know, there's a whole Liberal delegation, and there's going to be a lot of face-to-face meetings. And Premier Smith has been making announcements like every day this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
She's actually had a hell of a communication strategy, much better than the Ottawa communications strategy. I mean, all you get is a sort of sour, dour face saying, you know, we're going to insist on our electricity regulations. You're probably better able to reel off the announcements than I am because it's your beat. But what have we had here? We've had the methane targets.
Methane targets, carbon capture storage, 8.8 billion so-called clean plastic cracker, going to make clean plastic straws. You know,
those are the kind to have, all right. Yeah, none of this paper crap.
Well, it has been interesting, though. I mean, something I've noticed recently, I was thinking of writing and I hadn't got around to it, but it's felt this last 2 months almost as if we're in an election because the communications from the UCP have been like that. They're driving the discussion. It's every week, here's the conference, here's the change we're making, here's what we're doing. The next week, here's another conference, whether it's addictions treatment or it's energy or it's the Sovereignty Act, but there's always something coming up. And I think it's been effective. You know, former Premier Notley is always on her heels and reacting. And the Liberals are kind of flat-footed too. Like, how do you deal with this? And they're driving the agenda.
I guess that's my point. Actually, is that as she goes off with the Alberta crew to COP28, I don't know how much of the rest of the world cares about what we do in Canada, but if they do, they have, on the one hand, this we'll just say that the federal government does not have a very interesting, imposing, or attractive appearance. On the other hand, you have got the charismatic. Let's face it, she is charismatic. I mean, you can agree with her or disagree with her, but she's not somebody who you can ignore. So there she'll be in COP28. She's camera fodder for the international crew, and she's having a fight with her own government. And as she has the fight, she has got all of these things that we just discussed stacked up behind her, all the good, promising, progressive, we're really trying to get to do the right thing here, all of these announcements, and they don't. And it may or may not work, but nobody can say that they didn't try and that the communications people in the Premier's office didn't provide good advice and get it together when they had their marching orders. This has been very well done.
She's in complete control of the agenda.
Yep.
She's driving the agenda. She's coming at it within this framework of reducing emissions. We're not reducing oil production, we're reducing emissions. She spoke at an industry luncheon on Friday, and even there, the hosts are already describing her as a transformational leader, like a once in a generation kind of person that's come along. She's done her homework. She's completely up on the issues. She's on the file. She understands it. She knows people. She's on the ground. And I think it was our friend Tristan over at EPAC. He made a comment there that it's actually quite surprising that she's managed to get all, her horses.
Well, he is only surprised because he didn't know her before.
Oh, really? But he said
if you've ever seen it,
she's done it so fast.
Yeah, but remember what she was like on the radio? Remember what she was like on the Herald editorial board? She had a grasp for detail, and then being able to give it back to you in a form that you could receive it. Just left hostile interviews kind of flat-footed and wishing they hadn't come. And she was also polite about it.